Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am showing 2 o'clock high. So you know what happens on the second Saturday of every month at 2 o'clock high at the New Brighton Community Center. Minnesota MUFON holds it's not its annual meeting, it's its monthly meeting. It's monthly meeting. So want to thank you all for coming here. Got a lot of new faces in the room here, so that's fantastic. So my name is Tom Maher. I'm the Minnesota MUFON State Director. I want to just make sure that everybody's aware of a few things that are important for you to know. So if you're a Zoom attendee, thank you for being here. Thank you for being online with us. We're trying to make sure that we can get generate some donations from Zoom attendees. So not in December, but probably in January, we're probably gonna be charging to send out the Zoom link. So people that come here in person, they give their donations. So we'll have a donation for the people who get the Zoom link too. So it kind of balances out and will help us with that too. So for the people here who are in this room, we've been meeting in this room for, I don't know how many years, probably a dozen or more, I'm guessing. Because we're half here and half on Zoom, our numbers here are not as big. And because we're always looking at the finances, we may be switching to a smaller room. So still this building, but we're looking at a smaller room that'll be more affordable. So it looks like most of you probably aren't used to coming here every month, but for those of you who are used to coming to this room every month, just keep watching your emails and the updates and stuff and the announcements on Meetup and Facebook and all that, because we may be in a different room. So that's coming probably within the next few months. We don't have anything set on that yet. So okay, so like I said, my name is Tom Maher. I'm the State Director of Minnesota MUFON, and I've got a bunch of slides I've got for you before we go into announcements and what's up in Minnesota. So let's just jump right into our slides. So this month, November 11th, Zoom meeting sponsor, Christine and Michelle Gates. If you recall, Christine and Michelle Gates, they both donated quite a bit for the Zoom meetings back in May. And actually, could someone like draw all the curtains down too? That'd be great. Back in May, they donated a bunch for the Zoom meetings and they're still paying them off. So Michelle and Christine have donated for that. So thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Christine. So to sponsor a monthly Zoom meeting costs $13.49 per month. And if you want to sponsor a joke of the month, that's only $10 per month. Or if you just want to donate to Minnesota MUFON, we'd appreciate it. You can contact Jan Swenson. You met Jan back at the check-in desk. You can reach Jan at jan.swenson.pioneer@gmail.com. And we still need your donations to continue to bring you our programming every month. So MUFON members, we ask for a donation of $5. And MUFON guests, we ask for a donation of $7 to continue to support us and our fine programming. Again, you can contact our treasurer, Jan Swenson, at jan.swenson.pioneer@gmail.com. And we accept PayPal, Zelle, credit cards, personal checks, and cash. And of course, as always, your kindness is greatly appreciated. We just started this recently, Bring a Friend to Minnesota MUFON. So we've got a new program called Bring a Friend. So your friend can attend one of our meetings with no need to donate. That's right. We'll forego our normal non-MUFON member donation of $7 and let your friend attend for free, for no charge, nada. Each time you bring a new friend, someone who hasn't been here before, that new friend will be able to enjoy our meeting for free for the first time. And it just doesn't get any better than that. So I hope you'll encourage a friend of yours to come on down and visit a Minnesota MUFON meeting at no charge to them. But they're going to have a really good time, so they'll get that out of it. And all of our field investigators, like I say, it's always a great day to log on to MUFON University. So our field investigators, MUFON University, you can check your dashboard, read about MUFON University, take Astronomy 101, explore field investigator training, take professional development classes like MUFON Leadership Style Assessment, Presentation Design 101, Public Speaking 101, and there's also Space Exploration 101, Technology, Computer, Software Applications, and much more. And the past few months I've been talking that they're updating MUFON University, updating it. The updates are done, so it's all new in there. There's all new classes. Everybody's got classes in there to take. So if you're thinking, if you're a field investigator and you're going, I've taken all the classes already. Now that MUFON University is updated, there's new classes in there that you haven't taken. So go ahead and sign into MUFON University and learn a few things. It's always a good day to learn a few things. So let's see. And so one of our goals is MUFON educates the public. So do you know of a group that would enjoy a presentation from Minnesota MUFON? So we do these here at the community center every month, but if a group approaches us and said, hey, we'd like a presentation for this group on this topic, we've done that before in the past. We'd be happy to do it again. Just contact me and we'll see, we can work out the details. But these groups can be church groups or book clubs, Lions clubs, benefactors clubs, Rotary clubs, science clubs, social clubs, Knights of Columbus, schools, Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or others. We're happy to come out on a day that's not the second Saturday of every month and do a presentation for your group. And they can be very focused on whatever the group is, customized to what your group wants to see. So we can be happy to talk to you about that. And we'd love you to become a MUFON member. So there's 3 different memberships in MUFON. There's the basic membership, which is $5.89 per month or $59.88 per year. And the enhanced is $9.99 per month or $199.18 per year, and a $299.88 for the VIP. And so the only big differences I want to point out, so in the basic, You get the electronic version of the journal. If you want the hard copy of the journal, you add on another $29 for the year, but that's not true. The enhanced already has the hard copy, as does the VIP. So that's accurate for the basic, but you just want to keep in mind that that you get that extra $29 annually if you have the hard copy journal, but you always get the electronic journal. You can always see it online. So there is that. So, and I was surprised because we were looking at numbers recently, and I was surprised to learn that our numbers have gone up in globally, that we're getting a lot more members. And the majority of the members that we're getting are our VIP members of the $300 package, which I didn't expect, but hey, not a bad thing. So it shows that we're definitely more well-known. There's an interest out there and people are willing to, and they're interested in that VIP package. So if you're not a member and you're thinking of joining, those are our 3 options, and you can find all those on MUFON.com. So. And of course, speaking of that journal, here's our current journal, the November journal, the 6-inch sphere and other recent sightings. We've also got Europe's Roswell, 40 years since impact, and NASA and the 1973 Pascagoula alien abduction. And Pascagoula is a pretty famous case. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. If you're new to ufology or to MUFON, you may not have heard of it, but it's all in there in the MUFON journal. And it's interesting too, because if you haven't been to MUFON before, or you're relatively new, this looks like a really nice journal, and it is. And when I started to MUFON, all the journals were black and white, and they weren't bad. The content wasn't bad, but they were very black and white, and they weren't. But this is like an all-color journal. It looks really good. It's not just the front page that's color all the way through. You've got really color stuff, so it's a really nice looking journal. And do we have any journals in the back to show people? No, I think I've got some journal. If you want to see one of the current journals that are colorful, I think I've got some up here during the break or after the meeting. Let me know. I can show you one of the journals that you can kind of flip through it and see what all's in it. But I need it back for my own collection. But yeah, I can let you know what one of the journals looks like. So feel free to let me know. And of course, our monthly Skywatch. So in November, on the 5th, we had the Taurid meteor shower. Best viewing was between midnight, was from a dark location. You were going to see about 10 per hour. Just a few days ago on the 9th, there's a conjunction of the moon and Venus. And coming up on Monday night, there's a new moon. And then on the 17th and 18th, we get the Leonid meteor shower. Best viewing for midnight for about, and you see about 15 to 20 per hour. The shower is cyclical, reaching its maximum every 33 years. The last peak was in 2001. So we're still not at the peak yet. We got a few more years to go before we hit the peak. And then on the 27th, we got a full moon, known in the early Native American tradition as the Beaver Moon. On the 28th is the Orion meteor shower, visible. Best viewing after midnight, about 3 per hour. And this is something you get in the MUFON journal. So this is not something I created. So if you're a MUFON member, this is in your journal. But I like sharing with everybody in case you're not a MUFON member. You can see that too. And for more updates, like I said, it says you can check the space launches. Visit spaceflightnow.com. And for sky maps, there's www.skymaps.com downloads for monthly sky maps. So. And to explore the various MUFON membership opportunities or to become a member, go to MUFON.com/join. Sounds easy enough. And of course, are you a MUFON member? Are you interested in participating in Minnesota MUFON in a bigger way? Are you interested in working closer with Minnesota MUFON leadership? Do you have some technology experience, or would you like some? And are you a people person? So we're looking for a few volunteers to support us with various tasks. You can help make Minnesota MUFON an even better chapter, especially if you're like really computer knowledge, computer savvy. Like right now, Joe's running the one computer, I'm running the backup computer. So it's tough for me. I can't run both at the same time, and I really would not like to not be running this one. So we could use people to run the laptops. So if you're laptop savvy, you kind of know internet and web stuff, that'd be great. But there's always stuff. Janet could always use help back at the desk. There's definitely ways that you can step up and volunteer. We'd love to have you join. So you can speak to me, or you can email me at mufontom@epcoachtom.com for more details. And the 43rd annual MUFON Symposium is going to be in Irving, Texas next year, July 11th to 14th, 2024. Registration opens in late January, early February. More details to come. And I don't even have any graphics for it yet. I just got the date and the location. So if you've been to a MUFON symposium, they're a lot of fun. I'm hoping to make it down there this year or next year too. Irving, Texas. I've been to Texas a number of times. I love going to Texas. I always have a good time down there. So yeah, it should be a great symposium. People from all over the world come to attend our symposium. So. And there's field investigator training down there. There's lots of stuff. We'll talk about that in the future months as it's getting closer. And the MUFON Symposium Fund. So MUFON requires chapter representation at the annual symposium. So our board of directors elected to establish a fund to send a representative. So if you want to donate for one of our members to go down to the symposium, contact Jan Swenson at jan.swenson.pioneer@gmail.com. And of course, Minnesota MUFON appreciates your donations. And I think I donated to the fund, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if we've had many donations yet this year. So October financials. So this room cost $168 last month. Our meetup fees were $1649. Our website fees was $1309, and our Zoom fees is $1349. I think that website fee is either going away or it's changing. And actually, I think it's going away. I don't know if it went away for October or not. So actually, it probably did. So that's probably off by 13. So that cost should probably go down by about $13.09 because I don't think we got that website fee that we had. And Jared can confirm that when we're but so that number might be a little bit high. At the door, we brought in $60. Prepaid meetings, so we had members prepay for the meeting. We had $27 there. We had a joke of the month donation for $10. We had individual donation of $100. I know who that person is, but I don't know if they wanted to remain anonymous or not, so I'm not going to mention that person. And we had someone donate, like I said, Michelle and Christine donated the meetings, a Zoom meeting fee, so that was donated. So our income was $210.49, which was actually just 58 cents short of the $211.07. But then again, if you knock off the website fees of $13.09, we probably made, it looks like, you know, a little $12 and some change. So we didn't make a lot of money on the last meeting. I do want to note that there was an additional donation for Bill McNeff's award of $20. That's not counted up in here. I'm not counting that up in this area because this is all related to the meeting fees. And that's just for the award that we gave to Bill last month. So I did track that $20, but it's not listed here in the numbers above in this report. And thank you for the $20 for the donation toward Bill McNeff's award. And so if you'd like to, and I'd like to thank all the people who've donated in the past few months. And I say this every month, and I do mean it sincerely because it is true. You've been very generous with us. Like I said, the $100 donation, we probably get someone doing that close to every month. Would you say, Jan, that's right? We probably get $100 or more close to every month from someone? Or is that? It varies, but you guys have been very generous with us, very supportive. We appreciate it. We thank you. That's where it's not just lip service. We really do appreciate you helping us out with that. So thank you for your financial support of Minnesota MUFON. Roger Quandy, I can see you on screen right now. Please, Roger, wait if you can hear me. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody online can hear me. So as long as I'm speaking of Roger Quanda is a visitor here. I mentioned he's a visitor. He's also the subject of a book called The Extraterrestrial Odyssey, which I just happen to have with me. I don't know if anybody can see that. Yeah, it looks like it's going up on the screen. Extraterrestrial Odyssey, written by MUFON members Craig Lang and Bill McNeff. This is all about Roger Quandy's experience with extraterrestrials and ETs and the UFO phenomenon. He's from Minnesota. A lot of his stuff took place in Bagley, Minnesota. And it's a lifelong thing. Really fascinating read, a great read. I really enjoyed it. I forget, it's not Hulu, maybe it's like Zulu. Or do we know where you can get the book? You can find it online. It's a very reasonable. Was it?
I think they published Lulu on that.
Lulu. It's probably published in Lulu. So if you're interested in the extraterrestrial oddity about a Minnesota guy, written by 2 Minnesota MUFON field investigators, I highly recommend it. Bill McNeff wants to comment?
It was published on Lulu, but it has been dropped. It's now available for free online. I can't quote the link, but.
Okay, so the people on Zoom, Bill is saying it's now free online. So if you can get this free online, I recommend it. It's definitely an interesting read, a worthwhile read. Roger's had some fantastic experiences. I'm glad to have Roger here with us today. So Roger, thank you for being with us today. Thank you. And that's why I figured I give a little plug for your book. So you can see that. Yep, The Extraterrestrial Odyssey. So. Okay, where was I? Some with donations and appreciation. All right, let's get moving. Let's keep this show on the road. So MUFON membership. So look at this. Going back, we get close. We're getting close. In November we had 94. We dropped 2 from October. I've been wanting to get to triple digits for so long, and I thought in October maybe we'd hit it. We could still hit it by December. The December numbers aren't in yet, but we got 94 for November. So we still haven't beaten our record. Our record was back in November of 2021 with 97. We came close last month, but we're just not even hitting our record. We're not hitting our record and we're not breaking that triple digits. I really want to break the triple digits, but it is what it is. So we're still working on it. So, but I want to actually again, so thank our new members and our members that have been members for years. You are the people that are making these numbers what they are. So I really want to thank you for that. And I'm not going to go through all of it because I've done that in previous months. But if you look, we're common in the 70s, going up into the 80s, into the 90s, peaking in the 90s. We almost hit the triple digits. So we're gradually growing, just haven't hit that triple digit yet. And I'd really like to do that sometime. So let's see. So if you need to contact me, you can reach me by email at mufontom@epcoachtom.com. And check out the new Minnesota MUFON website, which is actually all of Minnesota MUFON's stuff is now in the northlandmufon.com website. So any Minnesota MUFON stuff, you'll find at northlandmufon.com. And of course, you want to check out the global website, www.mufon.com. And speaking of Northland, Minnesota, here's a fabulous site. Here's what it looks like, a journey of discovering. It's a whole big long screen. So I didn't, got it all, but I want to give you an idea of what our site looks like. So it is Northland MUFON, but Minnesota MUFON stuff is all in this. It's also like kind of a collaboration with Minnesota and North Dakota. So it's kind of, you'll find information for both there. Well, and then speaking of our new website, our Northland MUFON website is looking for more content. So if you'd like to contribute an article, a story, post pictures of an AT up close and personal, or perhaps you have suggestions what should be on the website, please let us know. This site's only going to be as good as we make it. Together, we can make it one for the premier one of the premier websites of ufology out there. So you can contact northlandmufon@gmail.com or mnmufonjer, J-E-R, at yahoo.com. So northlandmufoninfo@gmail.com or mnmufonjer at yahoo.com. If you want to have input on the website, we'd love to hear from you. And our extraterrestrial joke of the month, it's the Chris Harmon edition. So this is kind of special. So we do an extraterrestrial joke of the month, and usually it's just an extraterrestrial joke, or it's a Star Wars edition, or it's a Star Trek edition. This is the very first time that I've taken our speaker. Our speaker today is Chris Harmon. So it's themed on what Chris Harmon is all about. So Chris Harmon is into remote viewing and telekinesis and all sorts of things like that. So this joke it's not about Chris, but it's tailored to Chris. So but the Chris Harmon extraterrestrial joke of the month is brought to you by MarsCon 2024. Shh, that's classified. March 8th through the 10th, 2024 at the Hilton Minneapolis St. Paul Airport, Mall of America, 3800 American Boulevard East, Bloomington, Minnesota, 55425. MarsCon is a fan-run science fiction convention for all ages held every March in the Twin Cities area. At MarsCon, you'll find panel discussions, gaming, parties, guest of honor presentations, music of many kinds, an art show, a film anime room, science room, dealer's room, charity auctions, and masquerade. But wait, there's more. Their Con and a comedy music track attracts performers and listeners from across the country. It's a veritable smorgasbord of sci-fi fun. Various ticket packages available. Go to marscon.org/2024 for all the details. But keep it quiet. It's classified. And actually, I was able to go to MarsCon this year. It was actually really cool. I met the woman who's currently playing R2-D2 in The Mandalorian. So she was there. So that was very cool. And one of the guys that played one of the Jawas in the original Star Wars in '77, he was there. And so they always bring in really cool guests and things. So I was really neat meeting them. So yeah, if you can get to MarsCon next year, that'd definitely be a good time. But now, your Minnesota MUFON extraterrestrial joke of the month, the Chris Harmon edition. I'm not sure if this is a tough one or not. Put your thinking caps on. Let's see if you can get this one. What is the male version of telekinesis? If you're on the chat, if you're on Zoom, put it in the chat. I'll be looking for you. I'll be seeing if it's in the chat. But anyone here in the room know what the male version of telekinesis is? Telekinesis. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. And if you're on Zoom, don't be looking it up on the internet. No cheating. No cheating. Yeah. Oh, I'm not seeing the chat. I don't see the chat. Any guesses here in the room? Oh, ask a woman? Is that what the answer was?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Telekinesis, no. Northland books is updated, so. Oh yeah, you say Northland MUFON is updated, so. Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds. I'm not seeing it in the chat. I have a guess of ask a woman because she would know it here in the room. Telekinebro, I think someone's along the right line. Did Jan have a hand up back there? No, oh, Telekinebro, no, not Telekinebro. Don't know. That's another good guess too. Okay, I'm watching the chat, I'm gonna give you just a few more seconds. Any more guesses in the room? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The male version of telekinesis is telekinephews. So now don't hold the joke against MarsCon. They didn't pick out the joke. I picked out the joke, but I thought you might get a kick out of that. So I pick out the jokes. But if you want to submit a joke, you can sponsor the Minnesota MUFON joke of the month, or you can submit a joke to me. And if I like the joke, I'll use it as one of our jokes of the month. So submit your request to MUFONTom@epcoachtom.com for your Minnesota MUFON joke of the month. And so now we're getting to stats and rankings. Before we do that, we're going to go to our regular announcements. Can you put me on the screen share me for everybody or no? Or I'll just get started. If you can share it for everybody, that'd be great. And if not, we'll just get rolling. So Minnesota MUFON, actually not Minnesota MUFON, MUFON's mission is the scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. MUFON has 3 goals. Our goals are: number 1, investigate UFO sightings and collect data in the MUFON database for use by researchers worldwide. Our number 2, we promote research on UFOs to discover the true nature of the phenomenon with an eye towards scientific breakthroughs and improving life on our planet. And goal number 3, educate the public on the UFO phenomenon and its potential impact on society. That's what we're doing here second Saturday of every month. So we generally try to open the doors up at 1 o'clock for a social hour, and then we generally start our meeting at 2 o'clock. So sometimes if we got a lot of content or a bigger speaker, we might start it a little bit earlier. So watch Facebook and watch Meetup and watch the email blast for any updates in the time. So generally open the doors at 1, start social hour open the doors at 1 for social hour, start the meeting at 2. And meetings may be hybrid, maybe not. So this is hybrid, people online, in person and online. That's hybrid. We could go back to just virtual. Snowstorms, we could be just virtual. So always watch for Facebook and Meetup and eBlast for updates on when that happens. So. And of course, like I say all the time, I don't run this whole chapter by myself. No, not a chance, not a chance. I have lots and lots and lots of help. So I want to introduce some of my help. Some of my help is actually on Zoom. I know Jared Nelson, I think he had his camera on. So Jared, if you want to wave to the people, Jared is the assistant state director. He is also on the ERT team, and he's also the interim programming coordinator. So the ERT team, ERT stands for Experiencer Resource Team. So real briefly, we've got 3 different members. We got Anna Scott, Bill McNeff, and Jared Nelson are all in Minnesota MoveOn, and they're on the ERT team. So for the ERT team, basically someone has, maybe they feel a bump, like they think they've got an implant, or maybe they haven't seen anything, but they think they're having weird dreams. And they think there might be something extraterrestrial. They haven't had a sighting, so they're not submitting a sighting to us, but they are filling out our experiencer questionnaire. They're looking for resources, maybe hypnotherapists or someone like that. So they're a team that goes on and helps support those people. So Bill, did I do a good job at describing that?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So I pass. I get to keep my hat for another month. So all right. Speaking of Bill McNeff is right back here. Give Bill a big round of applause. And I should give Big a round of applause too. Oh, and I should say too, Jared's also our director of communications. So Bill is our chief investigator. He's on the ERT team, and he's also on the STAR team. And then Jan Swenson at the back, she helped check in. She is our treasurer. Give Jan a big round of applause. And we do have a few chair positions we'd like to fill. We'd like to have our secretary position filled. So a secretary is going to take minutes at our board meeting. He or she will probably take notes at our field investigator training and so board meeting, field investigator. I feel like I'm forgetting one. There should be 3, but keeping track of that kind of stuff. Programming coordinator. So that'd be someone who helps identify and organize speakers like we're doing for here. And our membership director is going to be someone who encourages membership, tries to support membership, tries to help me get to that triple-digit number we were talking about before. So secretary, programming coordinator, and membership director are all open if you're interested in any of those positions. You do need to be MoveOn member to have them, but talk to me. I can tell you what it's all about. So today's meeting, we're starting off with what's up in Minnesota. So what's up in Minnesota is I'm going to give you updates on Minnesota cases that I've shown you before that weren't completed. Then I'm going to show you brand new cases that have come in since our last meeting through yesterday. So you'll be seeing really what's going on, what's Minnesota MoveOn investigating, what are the cases that are coming in. And then we're going to hear from Chris Harmon. Chris Harmon, he'll be presenting psychic remote work and time travel. So he's into telekinesis. He does some of that. He's on the ERT team too. So he's a MoveOn member. So a very interesting guy. I got a chance to meet him at the symposium early this year, and really cool guy. I think you get a big kick out of him. He's really excited to be here too. When I asked him if he'd do this, sometimes it takes a while to confirm a speaker. He was on it. He wants to talk to you guys. So that's very cool. So upcoming meetings, we're going to, of course, have What's Up in Minnesota, because you guys need to know what's going on, what we're doing. And then Richard Time will be speaking to us. He's spoken to us in the past. He's coming back. Bill, do you happen to know what his topic is this time by chance?
His topic is a presentation of his fictional novel, which you see, Richard used to work for the NSA, and one of his bosses said, the only way you can tell the truth about this is to write fiction.
Right, yeah.
This is what Richard has done.
Yep. So for those of you on Zoom, so Richard Time is an author. He used to work for the NSA, and he wanted to share with the world a lot of stuff that he experienced and learned in the NSA, but due to security stuff, he can't really write it as nonfiction, so he's writing a fictional book. So you might want to say it's based on actual events or based on experiences, so we can't really say it's true, but he'll be coming in and speaking about his book. Or actually, will he be online? He'll be online, won't he?
He will be in person.
Oh, he'll be in person. So you want to be here in December in person to see him. And then in January, we're going to do a double What's Up in Minnesota. We're going to do What's Up in Minnesota, the year in review. So we'll kind of recap like our stats and statistics from the last year. Then I'll give you the new stuff that's happened since the previous meeting. And then I wanted to share this with you too. We don't have this person confirmed yet, but I was contacted by a woman earlier this week. Very interesting woman. She's a hypnotherapist. I think she says she's been doing it for like 40 years or more. She would get clients in for all of your, regular hypnotherapy things, smoking cessation, weight loss, relationship, things like that. And as she would put them under and start doing hypnosis with them, they would start talking about things that didn't sound quite human and started sounding extraterrestrial and started sounding off-worldly. So she's a big believer in the UFO and UAP phenomenon. And so she's gathered all this data. So she's got all kinds of stuff. And she would, so I'm working on getting her to be a presenter. So I don't know if we'll get her, but she's definitely interested. She shared one story with me. She was working with a client, and it sounds like they were almost doing remote viewing because the client said, well, I'm in this room, and this room, it's full of cats, but they're all standing on their hind legs. And there's a really big one that looks like a lion, and I think that one's the leader. So I think she refers it to the feline planet. So it's like the whole feline planet that one of her clients had kind of gotten through for regressors. So she's done a lot of really interesting stuff. Like I said, some of it seems to be remote viewing, some of it's channeling, and some of it's like past life. She told me another story of one client who was in a room with a bunch of blue people. They're all blue, and she said, "Well, look down at yourself. How do you look?" And the client looked down and was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm blue too." So she's got a lot of really cool stories. So I want to talk a little bit more with her. So hopefully we'll get her here early next year, but that's just a teaser. Hopefully we'll get her, but I can't say for certain. So, all right. And then I think I mentioned last month that we were trying to get to Don Schmidt and have Don Schmidt present. I was suspicious of this, and I think my suspicions are true. The people that contacted me were fraudulent and that they're not really connected to Don Schmidt. So I think that one's kind of a done deal. That's not going to happen, but we're still working at other people at Contactee from the Pleiades. I'm still working on that person, but want to let you know that Minnesota MUFON has a YouTube channel. Yes, we have a YouTube channel. We've currently got over 1,640 subscribers. We've got 45 videos out there. So we've got videos of Paula Harris, Ken Storch, Sherry Wild, Ted Phillips, Grant Cameron, and those are all from when they were here presenting in Minnesota. And we've got videos of Minnesota MUFON members, Joe Swenson right down here, Craig Lang, who's passed away. We did an experiencer panel a few years ago, so that's online. So there's lots of videos out there. We were stuck at like under 30 videos for a long time, and now we're up to 45. And that's all Jared Nelson. Jared Nelson's been working like crazy to get some videos out there for us. He's online on Zoom. Give Jared a big round of applause for all the work he's been doing. So I know I'm going to get some hands with this question. I'm liking these questions this month. So who's here attending a Minnesota MUFON meeting for the first time? I know there's got 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4. I'm none over on this side. You've all been here before. So we have 4 over here that all. Oh, there wasn't 4 here? No. There was 4. Okay. And no one on this side. Everyone here's been here before? Cool. So it's interesting. This happened one time before. I was asking for all the people who are here for the first time. They were all on one side of the room, and everybody who did it was on the other side of them. So it's kind of like, I don't know why that is. Maybe because this side's like closer to the door, closer to the wall to get out. But so if you're open to this, I always want to invite people who are here for the first time. If you're open to it, would you mind standing? Tell us your name and tell us how you heard about us and what your interest is in the move and the ET experience. Or would you mind if you'd like to? Sure.
My name's Don Chris. I've been pretty much in the UFO world for quite a while. I'm an experiencer. Had an experience in the Superstition Mountains back in 1991. It was a pretty close experience. We were within probably 200 to 300 yards, or about 200 yards away from an order that materialized at the site. And we watched it. There were 7 of us. And I guess the thing that has always stuck with me was, and it's funny, not just the ball materializing on the rock, watch it take off.
Mm.
And when you hear people talking about propulsion and how things move, and talk about how it's being so fast, you can describe it, but you can't really figure it out until you see it. And when you see it, you can't bet your mind around it, and it's route. That's why I follow it.
Cool. And how did you hear about us?
Well, I heard about MUFON itself probably back in 95, 6 in Colorado. I attended my first meeting there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so I've been a pretty close follower.
Yeah, for those of you on Zoom, he was in a group of 7 in the Superstition Mountains back in 91, I think, and a really large orb approached them. That's like a quick recap.
And that's what it was. It was an orb. This
Yep.
was 91, 92 in the Superstition Mountains,
Yep.
right on the backside of Weaver's Needle.
Well, right on the backside of Weaver's Needle.
And we were in a cave just hiking.
Cool. Very
And we
cool.
watched it come out. It was about the size of a Volkswagen bug.
Wow.
With
Very
3
cool.
lights, boom, boom, boom. And that, whatever it was, is on Petroglyph Rock, which is
Mm,
down past that.
right,
Those
yeah.
were done by the Anastasian, that exact same thing is on those rocks.
Very cool, very cool. Did you want to introduce yourself, ma'am? Or you, or sir, whichever. I was going straight left to right, but we.
I'm not with these guys, I just happen to
Okay.
sit next to them.
Yeah, that's allowed, that's okay.
So, coincidence there. I'm Ezra Hoyer, I live here in Minneapolis. I heard about MoveOn long time ago, I'm not sure how, probably from November. I am a lifelong experiencer and a starseed. I've seen UFOs and I've seen beings inside them, mostly Andromedans and reptilians.
Wow,
So,
scary stuff. So how did you hear about Minnesota MUFON? In our meetings.
move on this?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so she's a lifelong experiencer, has seen the entities, reptilians, and what was the other one you said?
Andromedans.
Andromedans. So very cool, very cool. Thank you for coming down. Thank you for coming out. And sir.
Johnson, the Little Falls. I kind of came up here today. I had seen a sighting on July 25th at 11:17 p.m. of some UAP, bright lights in the sky. They didn't move at all. I saw 5 of them just over the course of about 25 seconds. I watched the 6th one come into existence, and I was actually on my way home from work. I was talking to my mother, and I was like, I think this might be a UFO. And as soon as I said the word UFO, then the second and a half, all the lights.
They heard you, they knew you, they spotted it.
So that got me kind of interested in my buddy Don. I did some research. I've heard of MUFON before. And he told me about the Minnesota MUFON. I was like, oh, we should go to a meeting sometime. So
Cool, thank you for coming out. Thank you. Did you want to introduce yourself, sir?
Well, I can. Yeah. And I just come to try to get some answers on what he saw, because this is right next to Camp Ripley military base, but was off of the military base's property, and he's grown up by there his whole life, so he knows what flares look like and different stuff. But well, the question that I want to know is if we can get any kind of confirmation from Camp Ripley officials that they saw this also.
Right,
Because he's got the time and everything down to
Yep.
precise, and where it was located, which was right over the top of a
signal tower.
signal tower.
Okay.
So he had some something to judge the size of these orbs by
Right.
and stuff. So that's why I'm here. I'm just trying to get some kind of confirmation, if we could somehow, from
Right.
Camp Ripley. There's no way that they could have not seen
Right.
what he saw.
Yeah. And I don't know how it would go with the military, but maybe FOIA request would do it. And I know some people here know about FOIA requests, but Joe?
I was gonna say, did you fill out a field, sighting report?
I have not yet.
Do that, please, and then our field investigator can get into that. And they have other contacts that
Yep,
they
yep.
can make.
Let's give our new people a round of applause for showing up. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate that. So are there any new MUFON members here? Any new MUFON members? Anyone, any new members here? New members? No. What's that?
Florida, I joined this year.
Oh, you joined this year. Very cool. Thank you. We're glad to have you. And you have a Minnesota address? So you contributed to our 94. Thank you for that. You're getting us closer to 100. I don't know, if you look at the chat, I don't know if I saw anyone in the chat having said that or not, but okay. And then any of our current members, anyone renew their membership recently? Any new members renewals, members renewals? Not seeing any, but thank you all for your membership and renewals and that. So yeah, let's get on to our statistics and rankings. So actually, do you want to pull that down, pull those down so that's not blocking the screen, if you wouldn't mind, Joe? Yeah, bring it all the way down. So these are global rankings. So these are the number of reports that have come in from around the world from October 14th through yesterday. So the date of our last in-person meeting through yesterday. So I was trying to give you what's happened since the last time we were here. There's been 564 reports. Starting way up here, we had 458, United Kingdom's 27, Canada's 15, going all the way down. United Arab Emirates and Tunisia and Vietnam and Thailand and South Africa, Slovakia, all having one for a total of 584, 584. Yeah, so that's what's happened around the world. So it's happening around the world. And of course, as usual, we have the most here in the United States. And then, of course, English speaking countries go more. And then as you go down the list. So that's not an unusual looking report, although it is unusually low. I think last month we had about 784. So I think between 600 and 800 is pretty common. So 564 seems a little low to me. So there is that. And of course, roof rankings by state. So as usual, California's up there at top, like they usually are, 45. Florida had 37, Texas 35, New York 26. We are right down here. We had 8 this month. So I'll be showing you 8 cases this month because none of them were ERT cases. They're all cases I can show you. So I'm gonna show you details on all 8 cases. But Georgia had 9, North Carolina had 9, Indiana 7, Maryland 7, going all the way down. So those are, and that's pretty typical. California, Florida, Texas, New York are usually up at the top, and 8's pretty common for us. I say that Minnesota usually has between 6 and 8 per month. Last month we had like 11, but the prior month we had like 5, so it kind of balanced out. So we're right back on track with 8. So pretty typical month for us. And the shapes reported. So MUFON, we accept different shape reporting. So 106 circles, which is usually one of the most common ones, 83 spheres, 46 triangles, 40 others, 35 discs, 34 unknown, 29 ovals. I'm wondering if, because sometimes orb is on here. I don't know if I see orb. I don't see orb, because I know you'd seen an orb. I thought that might be on here, but I'm seeing it. Starlight, cylinders, tic tacs, all the way down to 2 cones, 2 crosses, and 1 teardrop. So we recognize a wide variety of shapes that people are reporting. So that's what's come in. And then our distance stats. So that we had 65 reports that were less than 100 feet away. 77 were between 101 feet and 500 feet. 101 of them were from 501 feet to a mile. 109 were over a mile. 19 of them were unknown, and 22 they just didn't have any value in. And I love this stat. I always talk about this stat. 15 landings, hoverings, and takeoffs reported, and 25 entities observed. 25. People reported seeing 25 entities since we last met last month. So, and you might go, wow, that's a lot of entities. Does that sound like a lot of entities to people, a lot seeing 25 ETs? Actually, it's kind of low. Usually when I do this report, usually the amount is kind of like in the mid to low 30s. So having 25 is lower than what I expect, because it's usually a little bit higher than that. And that's the thing too, because you nodded your head. Yeah, it seems high, but it's not. And the thing is, we normally have in the mid 30s. And can you show me, by show of hands, any of you hear about any of those sightings of entities in the news? Anyone? Yeah, I'm not expecting anyone's hands going up. I'm not. So this is stuff that's happening a lot. It's happening around the world. It's happening around the country. It's happening in our state every single month. And our news is absent. They're missing in action for whatever reason, not judging, just commenting. We're not hearing from them. So, but Minnesota MUFON, I'll tell you about them. And of course, so now we're into what's up in Minnesota. So like I said earlier, what's up in Minnesota? We're talking about the cases that Minnesota investigators have been investigating. So the first section is updates. So these are cases that I've talked about in the past that hadn't been completed. And then I'll go into the new cases, which has happened since last month. And some may be completed and some may not have been. So you get kind of a mix. So, and you'll see all 8 of the new cases that I talked about in that ranking report too. And actually, I want to pull out some of my definitions. I know I got definitions coming up for you guys, so I want to have these handy. So we're looking at our updates. So this is case number 134567-U. Took place on July 28th of 2023 at 10:30 p.m. A fireball was seen. Ballet classification is MA1. So MA stands for a maneuver. So it's a maneuver of the first kind. And MUFON defines a maneuver of the first kind as gathers those UFO observations that involve an object with a discontinuous trajectory, such as a drop, a maneuver, or a loop. And so this took place in Floquet. And the witness's just short description was orb-like object. Steve Hero was investigating this. He's now completed it. Let's see what Steve has determined. So, and this is the image that they sent in. I think they had a few images on this one. So, yeah, there might be 4. Is it just 3 or 4? So, but we've seen this before. So, yeah. And whoa, do I not have Steve's conclusion? What's up with that? What's up in Minnesota? What's up with that? Or did I just misplace that? There we go. I had the slide in the wrong spot. We'll be okay with that. So it's completed. It was an unknown UAV. So unknown UAV, unidentified aerial vehicle. So Steve said the witness seemed very sincere and credible, and he was very familiar with all the latest news in the media on UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. So if his description is accurate, this is no conventional type of aircraft because of the unusual maneuvers and its apparent speed classification unknown UAV. So Steve Hero, thank you very much for that. We appreciate your work. And Steve's been a great field investigator for us for many years, and he's always really on top of stuff and really gets stuff done quickly and very detailed and very thorough. So we always appreciate Steve Hero. So thank you for that, Steve. Case number 132870-U took place on September 10th, 1998. So a little bit an older case at 9:30 p.m. A sphere was seen, valid classification CE1. So that's close encounter of the first kind. You've probably heard of close encounters of the third kind. This is close encounters of the first kind. So MUFON defines that as class of objects seen on the ground or at a short distance to the observer. So there's a craft here, which took place in Kuchiching, I think, Kuchiching and Katabago. Yeah, if you know how to say the city, great. If you know how to say the county, great, because I'm just hacking it. Gotcha. I'll accept that answer. So a large spinning orb hovered briefly, quietly for a moment, then vanished. Peter Collins was investigating this, and it was assigned at the time. Now he's completed it. And so this is the picture I showed you before. We've got another picture. The person did another drawing of it. So here we got the next drawing. You didn't see this one before. Here's the other drawing that they submitted of what they saw. So very cool. They're taking the time to like make artwork to show us what they had seen. So. And Peter completed unknown other. So based on the witness detailed description, interview, and painting by witness, a disposition of unknown other will be given. The assigned field investigator is welcome to change it if this becomes a different conclusion based on his investigation and judgment. So Bill McNeff, our chief investigator, kind of wrapped this one up for us. So thank you, Bill. You're always on top of keeping all that stuff in straight. We certainly appreciate you for that. And the fantastic work that you do, Bill. So let's go on to case number. That's it for the update. So now we're on to our new cases. We had 8 cases submitted, like I said, and none of them are ERT. So when it's an ERT case, MUFON raises the level of anonymity and confidentiality in those cases. So I really don't talk about them. I can give you maybe a date range. So as the dates come up, I can tell you like the shapes of the valet classifications, but I can't tell you anything at all about the case like I do in the other cases. But we didn't have any ERT. So all 8 of them, I can talk about all 8 of them. Again, the submission range was 10/14/23 through yesterday. The date range of the sightings will go back to February 15th of 1975. So like your orb sighting, has it been a while? But you know what? It's 1975. You're still on time. And it's not uncommon that we're getting cases from the 60s and 50s. We've even got ones from the 40s and 30s. So we get some old cases. And MUFON, the organization, was established in 1969. So when we get cases from the 50s, that go back to even before this organization existed. 0 cases of interest. And that's when a case comes in. Headquarters looks at them before they get sent to the state. Headquarters will look at them and go, oh, this looks like we might have something. They mark it as a case of interest. None of these 8 are a case of interest. We're going to see 3 spheres, 2 circles, 1 oval. 1 was described as star-like, 1 bullet, and 1 missile. So the valet classifications. So we're going to see 2 AN1s. So an AN1, again, and it's an anomaly of the first kind. So anomaly of the first kind is anomalies that do not have lasting physical effects, such as amorphous lights or unexplained explosions. We're going to see 2 of those. 1 CE1, 1 close encounter of the first kind. I already told you that's the one close distance to the observer. We're going to see 4 FB1s. So FB1, it's a flyby of the first kind. MUFON defines that as simply a sighting of a UFO flying by in the sky, the category most frequently reported. And 1 MA1, that's again a maneuver of the first kind. So I already talked about that. So, well, everything is in the first kind, but all of our classifications, whether it's anomaly, close encounter, flyby, or maneuver, has first kind, second kind, third kind, fourth kind, and fifth kind. So we've got all those identified. So, and you'll see it in other groups and other organizations. You'll hear about CE5 events. Our definition of a CE5 is different from their CE5. I've heard a couple of different groups use different definitions. I know one group goes all the way up to like CE8. So these are the ones that we created and we started. So these are ours. If someone has different definitions, that's kind of what they've created, but this is what we work on. So work off. So these are MUFON created these valet classifications. So. Case number 134807-U took place on 10/7/2023 at 9:07 p.m. A circle was seen, MA1, a maneuver of the first kind in Scandia. Saw a large orange flame-like object out of a window, and the second one appeared 10 minutes later. So here's just some segments of what they said. I was visiting in my living room talking with my wife when I noticed a very large orange object through the sliding glass door on the second floor. Immediately got up and opened the door to get a better look. I noticed the object was a large glowing orange ball that was hazy around it and it pulsated more intense orange every few seconds, no pattern. Another object showed up, not as bright. It came from the northeast direction, headed east for a short while, and then went to the north to disappear. Wife said she saw the second UFO from start to finish. So yeah, and I think we've got the video on this one, so we're gonna want to check to the video. So this one's currently in progress. Yeah, so if you can get to the video folder. So if you're on Zoom, you're seeing
It's hard to see. See the spot.
What the heck?
Yeah, I know and move that out of the way so I can see what's going on. So those of you on Zoom, you got a good look at that. Those of you here in person, I hope you kind of see that on my laptop. But if you want to see it later, I can also show it to you later too during the break or something. So, okay. So case number 134912-U, they didn't put a date in at all. So there's no date at all. And I think this is the same guy. There's one witness who submitted 2 cases. I think this is the same guy, but there's 2 of them, the same person. 12 a.m. a sphere was seen, FB1 flyby in Apple Valley. Stationary orbs with random flashing lights, almost as if orbs are communicating. I see this quite often. So here's a segment of what he said. I've seen these flashing orbs quite often over the last 15 years and wondered why they are never in the news. It seems like they are observing something, like they look like a star in the sky, but if you watch them with binoculars, you can see a light glow, blue, green, and red mostly. So Bill is investigating this one. I think we have something on this. We have a picture or no? So, oh yeah, this was weird because we had an audio file only. It was like 5 minutes of him talking and stuff. So it was really strange. So there's no audio. I have the audio file, but it's not worth listening to. So, case number 134929-U took place on 10/22/2023 at 1 a.m. A sphere was seen, NA1, so anomaly of the first kind in Apple Valley. Multiple color changing orders, seen them multiple nights in a row. I've seen these orbs the past 2 nights in multiple numbers, which really got my attention because I'm used to seeing 2 to 5 regularly. But last night I saw them in double digits last night and again tonight, and I'm sure they are not going anywhere anytime soon. So Bill is also investigating this one. And they're cool. And again, just an audio file. Yeah, it's the same person. Both he just had audio files. So in case number 134990-U took place on 10/24/2023 at 5:36 a.m. Star-like object was seen, FB1 flyby of the first kind in Montevideo. Short description was 3 white starlight with equal spacing moving in one direction with the lights being at a slanted angle. So here's a segment of what they said. Saw the 1 star that was super bright in the sky every night, but my eyes focused on the 3 lights moving at the same speed equally. I used the brighter as a focal point to see if they were actually moving or my eyes were playing tricks on me. I watched each light cross that super bright star moving quicker than the observed satellites moving. So Anna Scott was assigned it, and she's completed it already. She's like that. She gets the job done. So let's see what she found out. And there's a drawing submitted by the witness. So there's the 3 that are moving and the super bright red one there. So which was stationary. And completed IFO man-made object. This investigator was able to confirm star witness used as a reference was Venus, based on described azimuth and attitude in her direction of travel south on Highway 29. Satellite tracker noted numerous Starlink satellites that were visible from her location. Starlinks 2067, 1955, and 3795 had magnitudes of less than 6. We're at the correct azimuth and altitude, and we're in an orbit consistent with the witness's report. This case is closed with the disposition of IFO man-made object Starlink. So, yeah, so this is pretty typical for the past few years. We get lots of Starlink ones, and and I think someone, I don't know if it's this case or another case, they commented that I've seen a lot of satellites. This moving faster than a satellite. And Starlink, when I've seen them, the Starlink does tend to move faster than the normal satellites you'll see. So when she's saying it's moving too fast to be a satellite, that is kind of an indication of Starlink. So Anna, thank you very much for this, for your work on this and the fine work that you do on all of your cases. We certainly appreciate it here in Minnesota Move On. Case number 135013-U took place on September 1st of 2023 at 3:57 a.m. A circle was seen, classification FB1, so flyby of the first kind in Brainerd. Small white orb, change of shape and color of UFO DAP system video. So set up UFO DAP system with PTZ camera at 85 feet of my tower, pointed southeast towards Fort Ripley. 3:57 a.m. My computer beeped and waked me up. No sound from object. We went back to bed. Viewed the next morning. Orb travels 22 miles in 7 seconds. Then UFO DAP sensor, UFO data acquisition project. So people are putting these specialized cameras out there to capture stuff that's happening in the sky. So Anna is working on this one, but we do have the photograph from it. So, oh no, we actually have a video. It's actually a cool video. Can we show this video? Actually, okay. So now they're seeing it on Zoom.
Okay, now we'll play it again.
Play.
Yeah, get over there.
See this in the room here.
This one's a lot easier to see.
Oh yeah. You play it again.
Yeah. Just a minute.
So that's a whole camera system that's designed to capture that type of stuff, so. And case number 135113-U took place on August 10th, 2010 at 10 p.m. A sphere was seen, an anomaly of the first kind in Wilmer, seen in the south sky while driving on gravel roads east of Wilmer, Minnesota, remaining stationary. At one point, it moved in front of a radio cell tower. And so when I do these short descriptions, this is exactly what the witness is putting into the database. I'm not modifying it all. It's exactly what the witness is saying. And the detailed descriptions, sometimes they get really long, so I'll do like synopsises or segments. So here's a segment of what they said. Notice a blue light hovering in the sky on the passenger side of my car. He had someone in the car with him. I slowed down car so I could get a good look at it. The blue light was in the southern sky and appeared to remain in the same spot. We had joked that it was a UFO, but now we both looked at each other with wide eyes. It was a UFO. So they were kind of joking about it. And I've heard that so many times before. People see things, they go, oh, ha, 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 I think it's it. And then they realize, oh my gosh, that's not even funny because that's what's really happening here. So Steve Hero is working on this one. It's in progress. When this one completes, we will tell you what Steve has found out. I don't think there's any attachments on that one. So case number 135127-U took place on February 15th of 1975. So here we're going back quite a ways. Oval was seen a close encounter of the first kind in Hopkins, 90 by 70 feet oval shaped solid object. So here's just a segment of what they said. Looked up at the moon, and it was then that I saw an object coming from the direction of the moon and ending in my direction. The object came right over my head, made a slow 90-degree turn and headed in easterly direction. It was silver gray, reflected a bit off the moon. I think this is the one. He was, he was 13 years old at the time. He was doing his paper route with his aunt. He was out there with his aunt doing the paper route, and as he's delivering papers, he saw this thing coming overhead. He was far enough away from his aunt. He yelled to his aunt to look at it, but she couldn't hear him. But he said it was perfectly silent. He remembers it clear as a bell, just because it impacted him so much. And with all the stuff coming out in the news, he wanted to make sure that his report got documented and stuff. So this was, he was 13 years old at the time. You can do the math, and that was in 1975. So early morning paper route. And case number 135276-U took place on November 7th, 2023 at 8:15 p.m. A bullet or missile was seen at valet classification FB1, so just flying through the sky in Maple Grove. Notice line of multiple lights moving slowly. So me and my sister saw and this is the full detailed description. It wasn't too long to put the full thing in here. Me and my sister saw what our immediate thought was an airplane, but instantly realized a vast difference in appearance. It was behind the trees. We got two good looks at it. It moved slow, flying low, had multiple lights, some flashing, some not, moving slower than a plane preparing to land at the airport. We only had a second to watch before it disappeared behind trees and homes. So that's been assigned to me. And that's actually probably going to get moved to another investigator. But so once this one is completed, we'll revisit this one. We'll tell you what the investigator finds out on that one. And that may be all of them. So. Oh, and here's the drawing that they submitted. I thought there was a drawing. So so here's the drawing of what they submitted of what it looks like, the flashing lights, red and white. So, and that's what's up in Minnesota for this month. So thank you all very much for, I'm not too bad.